Good morning, students. Today, let us learn about muscles, its types, and its properties. What are muscles? Muscles form the framework of the body by giving support to the skeletal system. So, without muscles, the body framework is not possible. Only the skeletal structure will not help the movement of the different parts of the body. So, muscular tissue contributes to homeostasis by producing body movements and also moving substances throughout the body, like the food, water, blood, etc., and also producing heat to maintain normal body temperature. Although bones provide leverage and form the framework of the body, they cannot move the body parts by itself. So, the muscles only help in the movement of the skeletal bones or the framework of the body. The scientific study of muscles is known as myology. Muscles make up to 40 to 50% of the total adult body weight. So, movement or motion results from the alternating contraction and relaxation of the muscles. So, movement in the sense the movement of the whole body and movements of the individual parts of the body, both the skeletal and internal movements, are depending on the movement of the muscles. That is the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. The primary function of the muscles are as follows. Number one, the transformation of chemical energy into mechanical energy. So the chemical energy is utilized and it is converted into mechanical energy. Um, that is, the ATP is converted into mechanical energy for the movement of the different parts of the body. To generate force, perform work, and produce movement of the whole body as well as the individual body parts. To stabilize body position, regulate organ volume, generate heat, and also propel food fluid through various systems of the body. So these are the main functions of the muscles. So muscular tissue consists of elongated cells called muscle fibers or myocytes that can use ATP to generate force. Let us see the different types of muscular tissues. Based on its location and certain structural and functional features, muscular tissue is classified into three types. What are they? They are the skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, and smooth muscles. Let us see the skeletal system. So, skeletal system, from the name itself, you can understand that they cover the skeletal parts of the body. They are long, cylindrical, striated fibers, which you can see in the picture, with many peripherally located nuclei, and they are under voluntary control. They are usually attached to the bones by tendons. What are the functions? It is mainly the movement, motion, posture, heat production, and protection. So you can see the how the muscles are striated, and you can see the nucleus. Many nucleus are present, and this is the skeletal muscle fiber. These are the striations of the skeletal muscles. So, as I told you, the skeletal muscle tissue is named for its location since they are attached to the bones of the skeleton, and it has alternating light and dark bands which we have seen in the picture within the fibers. They are called as striations, which are visible under a light microscope. Skeletal muscle is considered voluntary because we can move it under our voluntary control. The relaxation and the contraction of the muscle is under conscious control. Skeletal muscle fibers can vary in length from a few centimeters, that is short muscles, and up to very long muscles, that is 30 to 40 centimeters in length. A muscle fiber is roughly cylindrical in shape and has many nuclei located at the periphery. Within a whole muscle, the individual muscle fibers may be parallel to one another. So we have seen in the previous picture how the muscle fibers are lying parallel to each other. So this is the second type of muscle that is called as the cardiac muscle. So from the name you can understand that this is the muscle which is present in the heart. So they are also branched like the skeletal muscles with only one or two centrally located nuclei. In the skeletal muscles, the nuclei are peripherally located, whereas here the nuclei are centrally located, as you can see in the picture. It is not under our control. It is involuntary control, and it is present in the heart wall. The function of the cardiac muscle is to pump blood to all parts of the body. So they also contain intercalated disc. You can see the widely spaced intercalated disc, and the nucleus is fewer than the skeletal muscles. So you can see from the name, the cardiac muscle tissue forms most of the walls of the heart. It is also striated like the skeletal muscle, but it is under involuntary. It is not under our control. Its contraction and relaxation is not consciously controlled by us. Cardiac muscle fibers are also branched and usually have one centrally located nuclei or two. They attach end to end by transverse thickenings of the plasma membrane called as intercalated disc. So this contains the desmosome and gap junctions. These intercalated discs are very much unique to the cardiac muscle tissue. The role of the desmosome is to strengthen the tissue and hold the fibers together during their vigorous contraction. The gap junctions provide a route for quick conduction of muscle action potential through the heart. This is the third type of muscle, that is the smooth muscles. So from the name itself you can understand they are smooth. That means it is non-striated. It is in the shape of a spindle that is thickest in the middle and tapering at both ends. It is non-striated with one centrally located nucleus, and this is also involuntary control, not under our control. So they are present in almost all the inner parts of the body, like the iris of the eyes, the internal structures of the blood vessels, the lungs, airways, stomach, intestine, gallbladder, urinary bladder, and uterus. Their function is to propel the food or the blood or airways through the different inner parts of the body. That is the propulsion of food through the gastrointestinal tract, contraction of urinary bladder and gallbladder, etc. So, the smooth muscles are located in the walls of hollow internal structures. They can include blood vessel, airways to the lungs, the stomach, intestine, gallbladder, and urinary bladder. Its contraction help the muscle to contract and relax by the way they constrict or narrow down the lumen of the blood vessels, physically break down and move food along the gastrointestinal tract, move fluid through the body, and eliminate waste. Smooth muscle fibers are also under involuntary control. They are not under our voluntary control. They are non striated and hence the name smooth. The smooth muscle fiber is small, thickest in the middle, and tapering at each end. It contains a centrally located nucleus. Gap junctions are also present here, which connect many individual fibers in some smooth muscles. Such smooth muscles that can produce powerful contraction, as many muscle fiber contract in unison together. They all contract together. Now let us see the functions of the muscular tissue. The main functions are producing body movement. So this is the main function of the muscle. Whatever may be the muscle, whether it is a skeletal muscle or cardiac muscle or smooth muscles, they produce movements of the whole body or individual body parts. So movements of whole body such as walking, running, etc., and localized movements such as the grasping a pen or nodding the head as a result of muscular contraction. So they rely on the integrated functions of the skeletal muscles, bones, and joints altogether. The second function is stabilizing body positions. So, skeletal muscle contractions stabilize joints and help maintain the body positions whether we are sitting or standing. These postural muscles also contract continuously when you are awake. For example, that is the sustained contraction of your neck muscles, which holds your head upright. So, this maintains the position and posture of the body. The third function is storing and moving substances within the body. This is mainly because of the presence of the smooth muscles. So, storage is accomplished by sustained contraction of ring like bands of smooth muscles called as sphincters. So, sphincters are present in various parts of the body, for example, stomach, heart, urinary bladder, etc., which will prevent the outflow of the content of a hollow organ. This also results in the temporary storage of food in the stomach or urine in the urinary bladder. Cardiac muscle contraction of the heart pump blood through the blood vessels of the body. So they are also controlled by sphincter muscles. Contraction and relaxation of smooth muscles in the walls of the blood vessel help adjust blood vessel diameter and thus regulate the rate of the body flow. The constriction and dilation of the blood vessel depends upon the contraction and relaxation of the smooth muscles that make up the blood vessel. Smooth muscle contraction also move the food in the digestive tract, which will also push the gametes through the reproductive system, propel urine through the urinary system, and so many other functions. Whereas the skeletal muscle contraction promote the flow of lymph and also aid the return of blood to the heart. The fourth function is the generation of heat. So the generation of heat is because of their muscle contraction. This process, that is the production of heat, is called as thermogenesis. So the heat is generated by the muscles that is very much needed for the maintenance of the normal body temperature. Sometimes involuntary contraction of the skeletal muscles called as shivering can increase the rate of heat production. Let us now see the properties of muscular tissue. The first very important property is as follows. That is, muscular tissue has four special properties that enable it to function and contribute to homeostasis. What is the first function? Electrical excitability. So, excitability is a very, very important property of the muscles and the nervous system, nerve cells. So, it is the electrical excitability, as you can understand, it is the ability of the muscles or the nerves to respond to certain stimuli so that it produces electrical signals, and they are called as action potentials. So these action potentials can travel along the plasma membrane due to the presence of voltage gated channels, that is the presence of plus negative and positive ions within inside and the outside the plasma membrane. So the muscle cells can, two types of stimuli trigger action potentials. So what are the two types of stimuli? One is in the heart. That is, they are autorhythmic electric signals. So they are produced by the pacemaker of the heart. So this will result in the production of action potentials, which is automatically stimulates the other regions of the heart. The other stimuli is the chemical stimuli. So these are the stimuli which will stimulate the contraction and relaxation of the muscles, which whether it is present in the heart or other parts of the body. The first one is the autorhythmic electrical signal produced in the heart. The second is the chemical stimuli. So the chemical stimuli include the neurotransmitters released by neurons, not only the neurotransmitters, hormones distributed by the blood, or even local changes in the pH. So they will result in the excitability. The next important property of the muscle is contractility. That is the contraction and relaxation of the muscle. It is the ability of the muscular tissue to contract forcefully when stimulated by an action potential. So definitely an action potential is the initiation of the contraction. When a muscle contracts, it generates tension. This is called as the force of contraction, which will result in the movement of the bones or the different regions of the body, that is by pulling on its attachment points. So, if the tension generated is great enough to overcome the resistance of the object to be moved, muscle shortens and movement occurs. That is how we can carry heavy loads by the body or the hand. The third important property is the extensibility. So, extensibility is the ability of the muscular tissue to stretch without being damaged. So, the level of stretching property of the muscle is because of the extensible property. So, this will allow the muscle to contract forcefully even if it is already stretched. So this will help in the holding of the food in the stomach, the holding of the urine in the urinary bladder. Normally, smooth muscles are subjected to greatest amount of stretching because they only form the internal parts of the body, and there are different storage organs. For example, each time your stomach fills with food, the muscles in the stomach wall are stretched to hold the food. This is called as distensibility. Cardiac muscle also stretches each time the heart fills with the blood. So this is because of the ability of the muscles that make up the different internal organs, which can stretch to a larger extent. The fourth property is elasticity. So once the stretching is over, it has to come back to the original position. This is called as the elastic property. So it is the ability of the muscular tissue to return to its original length and shape after the contraction or the extension process is over. So that is the end of the today's class. Thank you.